So we did adding mixed fractions. Now we're going to do subtracting mixed fractions. Here, Ashley's dog weighed 16/16 pounds in January. In May, her dog weighed 18 3/10 pounds. How much more weight did the dog gain? So we could start with adding on 16/16 pounds all the way to 18 3/10 pounds. So by adding on, we want to find our friendly number. So 16 to get to another friendly number would be 17. We can figure out how many tenths we needed to add to 6/10 to get a whole, which we know 10 tenths is in a whole. So if we have 6/10, we need 4 more tenths. So we're going to add 4 tenths. Now we're at 17 wholes. Then we're going to add 1 whole to get us to 18. And then we're going to add 3 tenths to get us to 18 3/10. Then we will add our jumps together, and we see that that is 1 whole plus 4 tenths plus 3 tenths, which is going to equal a total of 1 whole and 7 tenths. So Ashley's dog gained a total of 1 7 tenths. Okay, so then we could also look into subtracting the fractions. So here we have 18 3/10, always putting the larger number first, minus 16 6/10. So looking at the problem, we see that we could go through and do 18 minus 16 is 2 wholes. Then we have 3 tenths minus 6 tenths gets us negative 3 tenths. Then we have to do our 2 wholes minus the 3 tenths is going to equal 1 whole and 7 tenths. For those of you who aren't quite sure about negative numbers yet, we could also look over, think about our strategy we talked about previously of taking our mixed fraction and turning it into an improper fraction. So we have 18 3/10 minus 16 6/10. So thinking about that, we know that 10 tenths is a whole. So we have 18 groups of 10 tenths in this 18 whole. So I know that if I take my 18 times my tenth, so 18 times 10 we know is 180, plus 3, that's going to get us 183 tenths. Over here we have 16. Again, we know that this is going to be 16 groups of 10 tenths. So 16 times 10 is 160, plus the 6 is 166 tenths. Then I'm just going to need to subtract. So 183 minus 166. I'm going to go ahead and regroup. So I've got 7 and 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. 7 minus 6 is 1. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So that's going to leave me with 17 tenths. So now I know again, an improper fraction, my numerator is greater than my denominator, so there's a whole hiding inside. 10 tenths would make a whole, so 17 tenths minus 10 tenths equals 7 tenths. And there's my whole with my remainder of 7 tenths, so this would equal 1 whole and 7 tenths. Okay, just another way to work it to help you to feel comfortable that you have some kind of entry point. So you're going to use the addition problem I showed you and the subtraction problem I showed you again to work task 3F today on the next slide. Be sure once you are finished working your questions out on a piece of paper that you take a picture of it and add it to your assignments before you turn it in. I'm going to be attaching a video to help you see how to take a picture of your work and to attach it to your assignment before you turn it in. So be sure and watch that before you try to turn in your assignment.